Hello, welcome pen friends. I was watching a video the other day by Helden Writes, and she had her pocket pen collection all out, and I went and got all of mine out, and I wasn't intending to do a video, but then I had a lot of fun looking at these and thinking about which ones are my favorites and why, and you know, just the whole 9 yards. And I thought, why not share my collection with you. Now this is 19 pocket pens, and I actually have 20, but I've got a little missing in action one. The little Lanbitour 3009 space pen is missing, and I saw it just a few days ago. My mind shows me that it was in either a little drawer or a little plastic container. So I must have been going to work on it, but I can't find it. I've searched and searched, but it's in a safe place because, you know, I just saw it the other day. Anyway, I've even done, I think, a review on that pen, so it's not a huge loss that it isn't here, but it's too bad because I wanted to show everything. I used to have more of the Pilot Petite ones, but I kept giving those away, so I just have the one here. So I think we'll start down here and work our way, and then we'll end up on the top row. So first, well, what I did was pick everything that I think is pocket pen size. I think I did a fairly good job. Anyway, the first one is the Sailor Lecoule, and this pen has a cartridge converter, and it has a medium fine nib, which is very fine in my collection because I'm kind of a broad nib person, but I love this pen. In fact, I think she's the same influencer that got me to, you know, after seeing her review of this one, I got this pen and I love it. It's beautiful, and I know that in the little Hobonichi style notebook, it's really, really nice to have the fine nib. I just need to settle on which ink will be the best for this one for me. I got the nib nice and the way I like it. I tuned it just a little bit. And then next up, oh, let's see. I don't even remember the colorway on this. Rose. I'll have to look it up. And what I'll do is list all 19 pens and what I know about them. And then the number 20 missing, I'll list that one too. Next up is the TWSBI Mini. And I just have one of these, but I do have medium and broad nib units that just screw in. So this is a piston filler. I love this little pen. I don't use it as much as I used to, and this is still kind of a mystery to me. This is one of my first pocket pens that I got. It is probably the most expensive. No, the Opus would be the most expensive, but then this is the second most expensive. That doesn't keep me from writing with it by any means. It's just that I find myself reaching for some others more. I like it though, and I especially since I replaced the nib unit with a broad nib, and also since I started experimenting with pilot nibs, pilot inks, what I'm finding is that when I use the Pilot Iroshizuku inks, I'm getting a whole new experience with a pen than, say, a Robert Oster or even some of the Diamine or trying to think, you know, I don't mess around too much with really dry inks, but the Pilot inks tend to be so nice and wet, and they just agree with so many of them. So I'm finding that I'm having new experiences with the pens I already have because of now being so into trying out the Pilot Iroshizuku inks. You know, for what that's worth, anybody that's relatively new might learn from my long delay in getting into those inks. The next one is the Opus 88 Mini, and I love this. This is the Checkered, and I've got several different nib units, but I bought this with a broad nib unit. And because I have the Coloro, which takes the same size, I also have a 1.5, I think it is, or 1.4. Anyway, I have a stub nib and I have a medium for this. So it's very versatile. And even though they have such pretty ones, this is at a price point where this will do for me because I can make it versatile, and it's what I would call neutral enough that I'll put any color in it. So right now it's got Private Reserve Vampire Red in it. And then next up is the fatty there, the Moonman Q1, I think it's called. And this has been inked up from the day I got it, and it's still Whoops, I got stuff there it's still going. I didn't leave myself any room here to write. From the day that I brought it into the house, like last fall. I'll have to look that up to be sure. But it's just amazing, and I was going to clean it out a couple times. It's got Monteverde Purple Rain, but I thought, no, I think I'm going to just keep writing with it and see how it does. Got a little bit of ink down into the cap, but I'll rinse that out soon. It's an eyedropper pen. It was at a good price point. It was under $25 when I got it. And it's just, it doesn't fit in pen cases very well, but I have a little zipper case, something like this, that I put it into. And so it has its own world that it lives in. But other than that, it's beautiful. It's kind of a conversation piece. I was gonna talk about posting and everything, but I guess that's too much. Yeah, this one does post. I don't care whether I post it or not, though, because I can write with it really well without it being posted. Of course, the TWSBI Mini screws to post. This one I just don't need to post it at all. And same with the Lecoule. I have relatively small to medium hands, so I can write with almost anything without worrying about posting it. Okay, and then I have two Caveco Sports. This was an early on purchase, and I have talked about this quite a bit because the nib ended up having baby's bottom, which I didn't know anything about when I first got into fountain pens, but I had to learn because I didn't want to return the pen. I was charmed and loved the pen, but it wouldn't really write. It would write and then stop, write and then stop. And then when I got a magnifying glass loupe and I looked at the nib, I found out it did have the little telltale signs. So I had to learn to smooth the nib, or I didn't have to. I could have returned the pen, but I didn't want to. So I have eyedroppered this mostly, but now I've gone ahead and purchased a little converter for it, because that's another option where I don't have to worry about having it inked up so long with the same ink. But my favorite ink for this is Noodler's Navajo Turquoise, which I think is being renamed, but the bottle I have is still, of course, Navajo Turquoise. So it's the blue Caveco Ice Sport. And then the other Caveco I have in pocket pen is the Galen Leather, I think it's violet, but it's purple. Anyway, it was a special edition. And there's a story behind this one too. I got it with a stub nib, and then I didn't like how it wrote, but I forgot about the ink factor, which seems kind of silly for somebody like me to forget that. So I took this off. I ordered a double broad, put the double broad on, and I had problems with the double broad nib. I didn't have baby's bottom. I had tines that were not aligned right, and maybe I did it to it, you know, but I still can't fix it. I've tried and tried. So it was a frustration, and most likely something I did in trying to put the nib on and off. So I put the original one back on, and I put cross violet, and we are in a different world. Now we're happy. So just totally happy. It's smooth. It's happy, and there's no problem. So it's apparently ink that I was just, you know, excited to put some purple. I don't remember now. It's in my records. Put it in there, and it didn't perform as well. So that's a variable that I just always need to keep in mind. Don't give up on a pen or a nib until you've checked it under the microscope, so to speak, and changed your ink. I don't believe I'm going to dabble in these pens anymore, even though they're so beautiful. They're cute. I like them. I love the way they, it screws to post, but then it just pushes to post, and it screws to cap. Totally opposite. And it's comfortable, and you can eyedropper the plastic ones. You know, you have that choice. You could use a cartridge if you wanted, and then the little tiny, which is what I'm doing right now, the little tiny piston converter. You know, that's great. They're like $5, I think. Just kind of so versatile and pretty. But that's it for me on those. Probably because I met the TWSBI Minis. I mean the Moonman Minis. Okay, and then this little oddball here is the, and I will link you, I did a full review on this one, Stipula Passaporto. Now, there was an older Stipula that I really liked from Chris Rapp 52's collection, but this, when this came out, I thought I'm going to get one because it's the closest probably that I can come, and it was a really, it was in my budget. So it screws to post, and it is an eyedropper, and it has a very smooth medium nib. Kind of wish I'd come across a broad nib. I'm not sure whether these came in broad nib. I don't remember. But I like it. It's a clear demonstrator. It's fantastic. I've never had any leaking. It's just been great. It's underutilized in my collection, and I plan to ink it up. In fact, I almost did today, but I've got a lot of pens going, so I refrained for right now anyway. And then next up, I've got 3 Moonman Minis. Wancai Moonman Minis. These are, I'm just going to say it, these are my favorites. I have the original fine nib on this one. It does have a stain, but I'm not going to let that bother me too much. Probably just need to go ahead and do some better, more thorough cleaning. But when it's inked up, it certainly doesn't bother me. I did start using the colors that would stain like that in the pink pen so that it would make more sense, and I started using green in this one. So anyway, this is my oldest and first one, so it does have a little bit of staining, but that's okay. It doesn't affect too much, and I think I could probably clean it. So it screws to cap, it screws to post. You can get almost like 3 mil ink in here, and it's really comfortable for me. Maybe not for everybody, but that grip is really comfortable. Okay, these two are the same as the green swirl, but I have replaced the nib on them, and they're both inked up, these two, with a Goulet broad nib unit, not unit, but nib. So when I pull these off, I just use like a little lobster band and just pull the nib itself off and replace them. And I think I'll probably end up doing that to the green one too. I just haven't purchased another broad Goulet nib, but I've got the 2 going. And these are just, well, they ended up being workhorse pens in my collection. I use them all the time, and sometimes I have all 3 inked up. I don't even count them against my 8 for the month because they're in service all over the place, sometimes even in my pocket. But this time of year, with over 100 heat indexes, I don't like to go out with them with it that hot. I just haven't tempted fate that way. Okay, so then we're going to move up here to the top where I've got 3 metal pens, and in common, these 3 are cartridge only pens. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, I believe. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not misspeaking. I know this one is. And this one is the Filcao Italian Mini Pen, and it does screw to post as well. And it has a, I actually just left a little standard cartridge in there so that I'd be ready to go next time I ink it up. I could tell you this has an amazing nib on it, and from what I've seen, they're right in the around $20 range. They're not making them anymore, but they're just available on eBay at times. You have to watch out for them. But a pen friend sent me this one, and I love it. It's really small. It may be the smallest pen here, because really it's definitely not as long as the Stipula, and it's also narrower. So I'm thinking, unless I'm seeing things wrong, that this wins for smallest, and it is a really good writer. So there we have that one. And now next up is the Travelers Company brass fountain pen, and it just goes like this, and it pushes to post, and it does maybe need some polishing because it's got quite a lot of patina on it. I do have brass though somewhere that I sometimes use, and like I said, this has don't think this is inked up right now. No. It takes a standard cartridge, standard international cartridge, and it has a really nice smooth nib. It's a fine nib. And this was also sent by a pen friend. These two were sent by the same pen friend. Thank you. You know who you are, and it is just amazing. Now this one of the metal pens, I think this one is the most comfortable for some reason. I mean, it's a little bit narrow, but the brass feels nice, and so the grip, you know, I don't slide around on the brass. So, whoops. Okay, and then next up is the Caveco Lilliput Fire. I'm not sure. I can't remember the color name. I'm going to have some homework to do. Definitely says Lilliput, made in Germany. And again, it screws to post. This isn't bad either. It's very comparable to the Traveler's pen. It is a little narrow for me, but not terribly, especially since with these little pens, it's usually a jot note anyway. And again, standard cartridge that it takes. I think this is a medium nib. Yeah, this is a medium nib. This is a beautiful pen. I've been really afraid that I'd lose it, but I don't know why I've got that little mental block there. Because, well, there might be a reason why I think I might lose it, but like the Lanbitour one is missing in action, but somewhere it's safe. Okay, next up, moving away from the metal pens, is a Labon Expression. And this is just gorgeous. And this is another Chris Rapp 52 inspired purchase. I watched his review and I just thought this was a gorgeous pen. And when I went to find it, and I at the time found it on sale at, I want to say, it was either Pen Chalet or Gold Spot, and I can't remember. That's terrible. I'm really not sure. Anyway, I knew going in that it would have the narrow section and that it was cartridge only, you know, standard cartridge. But it was just so worth it, so pretty. And I believe it was associated with my birthday, that I ended up asking for this for my birthday or something. That's how I remember it. It's just gorgeous. And it's so cute, and it's very sturdy. The nib is really, really smooth. And then next up is my only vintage pocket pen. I think I'm being honest about that. Yes. And it is a Waterman 52 little vintage, you can wear this around your neck. Ladies pocket pen with a lever filler and a number 2 gold nib. It's just really nice. I was going to see if that head says anything else. It's a Waterman's number 2 nib, and you just post it like this. The last time I filled this, I felt a little shaky when I was cleaning it, like there might have been something going on with the lever, but I'm going to revisit it now because I've got plenty of time to do that and see and do a little research and look into it, because I love this pen, and it definitely writes really, really smooth, and it's just charming. So, and this was a pen friend gift, anonymous pen friend gift. Okay, so there's this one. Wanted to stay anonymous. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and next up is, I'm calling this a fountain pen, even though it's technically a hybrid. It's a fountain pen, dip pen combination. So it takes a standard number 6 nib, any standard one you want. So, and you just like, it just pulls out with a feed in the nib. And to fill it, you don't have to do anything but dip it. You could, I guess, syringe a little ink down in there, because this demonstrator shows you that it does have quite a bit of room. But just by dipping multiple times into even your sample vial, you could just sort of angle it and dip it, you end up with a really nice fill. Just a typical fill, I can go at least 3 pages, A5 pages, without it running dry. And it's funny, when it does run dry, it just stops usually. It does fade a little bit in color, so I can tell when I can see that coming. Right now, I've got a Goulet medium nib in here, but I enjoy that flexibility. Now this is a little small. I actually have the full-size standard one as well. So there's a big difference in length. And I think I would probably never repurchase the small one just because it is really, really, really small. It's comfortable for me, but just barely. And I kind of feel like that factor of, is this going to roll away? Am I going to lose it? Might be on my mind. And then this being just such a nice, pretty, so it's Serendipity by James Phineas. I got it from Pensive Pens in Australia. I got both of them. But anyway, we're on pocket pens, so I need to put put the beautiful green one away. What do I have on there? Another medium nib. Yeah, the medium nibs end up on hold on these pens usually because my broad nibs are all in my gin house. But I do love this. I love it. It makes sampling new inks real quick and easy. You saw how easy I pulled that nib and feed, so I could just run it under the water and literally just rinse it out, and I'm you know, virtually ready to try another ink. So next up in my pocket pen collection is the Monteverde MVP, and this is another little pocket pen. I mean cartridge, yeah, pocket pen. That takes a standard cartridge, but I'm sure you could eyedropper this. I just haven't done it. Probably would want to be nice and liberal with your silicone grease because the threads are not super fine, but this would definitely work. I should try that sometime. I do greatly prefer having a larger capacity. And then it screws to post as well. This is a gorgeous pen. My only beef with it is that it is a broad nib and it's quite a small line for a broad nib, but I've gotten used to it. I think of it as a medium nib and I like it a lot. I mean, it's really gorgeous, and not all of these have the clip just built in. You know, you could put a clip on your others, but I kind of like that it has that. You could clip it to the front of a notebook, you know, or paper real easily. It is a little tight. But I like it anyway. And it was another one that was very affordable, like under $25 for sure. Next up is Moonman Mini glass nib pen, screws to post. I kind of like those. And it's just gorgeous. It comes with a regular fine nib, but I've got that in my nib kit, but I don't use it. I just use the glass nib. And this a glass nib's really heavy and thick, and you know, you have to kind of maybe dip it in your sample and then get some of the ink off it and then write a little, and about the end of your sentence you're getting what it might look like in a nice juicy medium or broad nib. But I still really love it because it's a quick way to write with a new ink and get a really good idea what it might look like, especially in my broad nibs. It'll give me that preview. So this always lives inside this because I don't want it to fall down, and I've got Cocoa running around, so I put it in my little rickshaw. But I'll leave it out for now because I wanted to do like as we're getting to the end, I wanted to kind of do a favorites kind of thing. And then this I've had these from almost the beginning. It's the Pilot Petite 1 fountain pen, and this is a mighty soldier of a pen for like under $5, or at least it used to be. Probably better not listen to me on prices because I haven't bought one of these in a long time. I'll have to look that up when I'm doing my typing. But it takes a cartridge, little mini cartridge that's made for it, and you can eyedropper it if you want to. It's just super smooth and really, really reliable. You can have these inked up for almost forever, and they just keep writing. What I used to do is I would put Noodler's Heart of Darkness. I'd refill the little cartridge with that. I always save the cartridges and clean them out so I can have that option. But it's just a quick pen because it's push to cap, and so quick and nice. You don't even have to worry about posting it. It posts very securely. Hey, you have a pop. Let me see. I have to be quiet long enough so you can hear that. It has the little clip, and yeah, gorgeous pen. Comes in a lot of different colors, but I like the black the best. So these are the 19 that I was able to round up for you, and then the Lanbitour is missing, but I'll link the review. But like I said, these are my favorite. They're just my favorite. I like being able to put the broad Goulet nib on them. It just really, like right now I have the Vinta Me Copa back in this again. Just really have never had one of these dry up. The only time I had any trouble was when I had a double broad Knox nib on it, but that still wasn't what I'd call trouble, just that it needed to be encouraged to go ahead and flow, but never with the regular broad does it give me any trouble. You know, it starts every time. So, you know, they start every time. So 2 with the broad nibs, and 1 that still has its own fine nib. But you could put a stub nib, anything number 5 standard, you know, that you can order, you could put on here. I haven't really thought about that because I've got it covered with this pen and the TWSBI. I have a, wait, maybe I don't, no, it's the Colorose that I have the stub nib that will go on there. So I'm pretty happy because I'm always reaching for a broad nib anyway, most of the time. So that's my collection, and those are my favorites, the Wancai Moonman Minis. If you only counted, I was going to do something fun, like I was just going to kind of move these and then tell myself, okay, what if I could only have 5 of these? You know, not realistic at all, but definitely I'd have to have this one for sure. Definitely. Okay, so, oh boy, then it gets really difficult because I love all my pens and I'm looking at them. This is more like a torture exercise or something. Oh, yeah, and then it's emotional too, isn't it? It's not just, I'd have to have that one too. The green one probably would come over too, except it still has a fine nib, so that you could tell how biased I am toward that. I really love the Opus 88. I'm just beginning to go crazy with that pen. Definitely. And then, like, gee whiz. You know, sentimentally wise, that's where it gets hard because, like, I really, really love the little Waterman's pocket pen. I'm a little, it's delicate and I'm a little bit like out of my realm with it. So, and it wouldn't be like a daily workhorse writer, but I just was so charmed and so grateful and happy to get that gift. And I love them all. Of the cartridge converter, I mean, the ones that take just a cartridge, this is my favorite. It's the nib. Oh, here comes Coco. Careful, honey, don't hurt my pens. No, okay, just be nice. So this one is number 4. I think I'm gonna have to wrap up because we're gonna have trouble here. We got a big boy getting into the box of pens. Okay, go back to your chair just for a minute, hon. Just for a minute. Okay, one more pen. You gonna help me pick? Oh, I love them all. This is ridiculous to torture myself this way. Oh, I'm awfully tempted to say it would be the TWSBI Mini. It's very versatile. It's got a nice ink capacity. It's a, you know, total demonstrator. I love the new broad nib I got for it. I guess, you know, just given the fact that I love them all, I probably would, if I was going on a trip and was going to be away for several months, these would be the ones of my pocket pens. So I think he's telling me that he's all done being ignored. So we will see you guys later. Thank you for watching, and we're just keeping it under 30 minutes. Then let me know if you love pocket pens and which ones are your favorites down in the comments. I'll see you in the comments. Bye for now.